Star Wars is sounding even more in depth than Bleach context, to be honest.
Actually, this is probably longer than the Bleach storyline.
Oh yeah,
Bro, I would agree. That's actually something I very much would agree with. On you with that one, honestly.
like like people take a lot of Bleach beats out of context, but Star Wars, I can see it happening even more.
Oh yeah, dudes would be like, "Oh, a Jedi Knight like casually threw 40 starships across a solar system," and I'm like, "You're not gonna talk about how the fact that that person was under battle meditation when they did that, or the fact that like they died right after they did that feat." Like that's another thing that irritates me is that they give Obi-Wan a planet level feat of another Jedi Master on the Council dying from that feat.
Oh wow.
Like you
So
can't
Obi-Wan just
give
goes,
him planetary for that. Like this.
Yeah,
All right, we should be live now.
you are alive. I got a notification.
All right, appreciate it.
By ExpressVPN.
Yeah,
Find
like
out on
st-
privacy today at
check this out.
expressvpn.com.
Yeah, I see it. I see it. I see it.
Obi-Wan
Yeah, I see
Kenobi
it live.
versus Kakashi. Very interesting.
yeah, so like I actually really do like that these characters are very very similar. I don't know if a lot of people know like they both have led horrible lives. Um they're really good mentors who sacrifice a lot for their students. So they really are very similar. I don't know if Kakashi was like I don't know. You'll see. You guys will get to see this.
I wonder, are they using DMS? Because for
They
some
do
reason I
not use
can't hear the
DMS.
video.
You can't see the video?
Here, I can't hear the video.
Yeah, I can hear it. I'll...
Can you hear it on the... Oh, let me see. Should be able to hear it.
It might be because you're sharing it as screen one rather than the tab.
What'd you say? Because I'm sharing a screen one?
Yeah, rather than the tab itself. I think that's why. Because when you share it as screen one, I don't know if it has audio.
I don't think there's a way to change that, is there?
It's when you start up the stream, like on Discord. You just have to quickly end it and then start it up again, and you'll see instead of clicking screen one, you'll click on the tab. Just like stop the.
Oh, I hit the wrong button. Of course I hit the wrong button.
Yeah.
Sorry, back. I hit the wrong button.
Yeah, when you start it, when you start the stream again, you'll see there's the option for screen one, but click the option of the tab that's like the video.
There we go. That should fix that problem. All right.
Yeah. Let's get into this. Nice.
Skills to find out who would win a death battle.
I'm about to say that
Why
should
can I
fix it.
still not hear it?
On the distant planet of Tatooine lived an elderly
Can you hear it,
known
Dio?
as Old Ben. His heart heavy with regrets and stories to tell.
needs some
He
time.
wasn't just some crazy old
It's
goot.
still
He
behind.
used to be a badass samurai space wizard.
Behind.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, it
Now
needs to
that's
catch
a
up.
name I've not heard in a long time. Ah,
Is it still too quiet for you? Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't even hear anything from the ad.
Huh.
I love a good Obi-Wan liner.
Hello there.
Yeah.
As a child, Kenobi.
No?
Yeah, I'm not hearing anything.
No, you should be able to hear
Yeah, I
it.
can hear it on the live stream. It's just us.
Yeah, it's just in the Discord for some reason.
Huh.
Yeah, it's just Discord. It's just Discord.
Oh, that might just be me. My Discord's been acting funky all week.
Yeah.
Yeah, my settings are the same. Maybe OBS is messing it up.
Maybe.
No, my OBS settings seem the same. Yeah, I'm not sure. I guess you might just have to watch the stream, because I don't know what the issue is.
Really behind, so we'll probably just have to listen to what you say and just go off your sound cues.
I'm gonna try leaving the stream again.
Yeah, maybe try that. Go back in.
He was inducted into the Jedi Order, warrior monks training in the Force over the course of their lives.
And he was trained by the one and only Liam Neeson. Well, and
Can you hear it now, or are you still out?
I'm still out. I was just trying to listen to that. I wonder what it could be. You streamed on.
Yeah, we stream normally, and everyone can hear it normally. I don't know what the.
Yeah.
I didn't change my settings. Yeah, I don't think it's. Yeah, see, that was. Yep. It's me. That's what it is. I thought so.
Yeah.
Yeah, stream currently has reduced video or audio quality issues. So it's me.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna have to go off your sound cues.
Billy was murdered by Space Satan.
What's the
Though
stream,
not
I
before
guess?
they discovered.
Yeah, I'm gonna try. So I mean, I could. So we got Obi-Wan Kenobi, 5'11". I think that's actually. I think they're using Ewan's stats for that. I don't remember that being Obi-Wan's. Trained by Qui-Gon, Yoda, and Van. So interesting enough. Like I don't know if you know, but like, so the original trilogy just states that he was trained by Yoda. It wasn't. He didn't actually have like a new master until the prequel series. So that was interesting.
And Obi-Wan's future pupil, Anakin Skywalker.
I have a bad feeling about this.
Eventually, Kenobi rose to the top ranks of the Order, becoming a Jedi Master. Just in time for 2 back-to-back galactic wars.
Sounds like fun when you've got his classic lightsaber, which can cut through basically anything with enough force. Get it?
Including the duranium armor of General Grievous, which can take volleys from starfighter cannons.
It's an elegant
That is factual.
for a more civilized age. Because, mutilating and decapitating people left and right is way more honorable.
Kenobi has studied 7 forms of lightsaber combat, and is the undisputed master of Form 3, Soresu.
Which is all about defense and waiting for your opponent to make a mistake to land a finishing blow. He's so skilled, he can beat Sith Lords in just seconds.
But Kenobi's most...
Okay, see, this is what I'm talking about with context. So, like, I get maybe they can't always get into full context of everything because it does take a lot of time, but, like, being able to defeat Maul in a couple, like, moves is very specific. I mean, you didn't even need Sam Witwer, like, breaking it down. You could literally see the motions in the fight if you were paying attention, and then Maul goes to use the same technique he was going to kill Qui-Gon with, and Obi-Wan knows that counter. And it's interesting because Obi-Wan gets into an Ataru stance, which is not a Sarisu stance. So it's very interesting that, like, Maul fell for that technique. So they're like, this is just, they fought each other so many times that it just comes down to experience. Now, would Obi-Wan beat Maul on a regular day? Sure, but it generally doesn't. It's never generally that short.
powerful weapon, or better put, ally, is the Force.
Yeah,
An
yeah.
energy that exists
Makes sense.
almost everywhere.
I heard about that
Jedi
before as
can
well.
tap into the Force to manipulate the
Like
world
that
around
fight,
them.
how
Like
Obi-Wan
throwing
used
stuff around with
Qui-Gon's
telekinesis.
stance.
Everything from pulling
Take
down
Maul
an
out.
airship to crushing
It's a
someone
great.
else's
It was a
orbit.
great moment. Like, emotionally, it's a great moment, especially like with the stuff that comes after. But it's one of those things where it's like I said, I get they can't give full context, but that one, to say they like he defeats a Sith Lord in a couple moves is kind of. And then, like, the other problem is Maul is far from his prime at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's not to say that, like, Maul isn't impressive, because Maul literally, like, no diff 3 Inquisitors. Like, it was kind of embarrassing.
Yeah.
These same Inquisitors were giving Kanan and Ezra issues. I wouldn't say they were like going to kill them, but they gave them issues.
While Kenobi prefers a more direct dueling approach, his power in the Force is nothing to scoff at. Many years after his time, he was
Oh
explicitly
God, I love. Okay, so that fight against Dirge is so cool because Dirge is like the equivalent to like Wolverine, and he defeats Dirge almost every single time they fight. It's really impressive.
compared to Jedi Knight Kip Duron.
For a moment, the only things in the universe were him, Jaina, and the Void. He moved the Void, turned it around, moved it back to the other direction. I see. I'm never comfortable comparing NJO Jedi to other Jedi because they start. It's like the power creep thing. They just start doing very, very crazy stuff with the Force. Like I think when I think of all the characters that have become one with the Force, I think most of them are in the NJO series. I think prior to the New Jedi Order, I think canonically there was like one other character that became one with the Force while still being alive. I mean,
Who could move a micro singularity with a thought.
Speaking of thoughts, he can mess with yours with the Jedi mind trick. Like if he wanted to, he could get jizz stuck in your head.
Boomstick, gross.
What?
Mm.
It's a type of music. Those
No.
aliens at Jabba's palace were playing it. They're called jizz whalers.
I bet Disney was real happy to learn about that one.
I'm trying to see if they're gonna say it.
Kenobi's Force abilities.
Yeah, they're not gonna say it. So the mind trick techniques, like they're very specific to like people who are weak minded, and then there are species that are naturally like it just doesn't work on them either because of like natural proclivities or because the species itself is becoming force resistant for some reason. Um, I guess it doesn't really technically matter against someone like Kakashi because he's very clearly not going to fall for mind tricks. Because like even without the Sharingan, he knows what Genjutsu are. And he's probably been trained for it. He's an Anbu member, so like it doesn't really matter. But again, context is important.
These also include protective fields, illusions, and Tuta Minus, a technique for absorbing and redirecting.
Tuta Minus.
Even without a lightsaber. Oh, also, he can see the future.
To a certain extent, Jedi can glimpse the distant future through focused meditation. In battle, the Force can guide their movements, predicting danger in advance.
Kinda like a space spidey sense.
Exactly.
Yes.
With their incredible skill in the Force, Kenobi and Skywalker became a formidable duo.
Obi-Wan ranked up even more in
Actually, what's interesting about this is that this is another like advantage of like the light side of the Force, that often isn't talked about. It's like if you work with someone, if you're used to being with them often, like your what was it? What's that thing in what was that thing in Naruto? The Sannin. Like when the Sannin are fighting separately, they're powerful, but like when they're fighting together, I think it's their battle capabilities individually become like threefold or something like that. I think is what it says. That is I think that would probably be like the similar case with him and Anakin.
became a general. He's a badass space pilot who can
I haven't
dogfight
seen
at
that
near light
for the Saudi, but I do know like the narrative around them. If they're working together, they're like stronger. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Chris might have that one. I think Chris is the one that shared that. Um, but yeah, that's essentially like the important part with it. I think, and I remember in the same novelization, I have it. Actually, this is on my dresser right now. In the same novelization, when they're fighting, I think if I remember correctly, the novel refers to them as like two halves of one whole when they're fighting. Like they're like it's
Yeah.
almost as if like this they were the same swordsman split in half. So like that's how like in sync they are in the Force. Oh yeah, and here we go with these relativistic crazy feats. So for
Light
merely
speed.
I know like so for merely human pilots this would be suicide. By the time you can see your partner starfighter streaking toward you at a respectable fraction of light speed, it's already too late for your merely human reflexes to react. But these particular pilots were far from merely human. Like I think a lot of people forget that these starfighters are moving that fast. because you have to slow it down for on-screen stuff, or else nothing would be watchable.
According to an official novel,
Yeah.
he can even react down to the
Azrael, so
nanosecond.
Raid's voice needs to be boosted.
Does it? I don't think it turned it down. His user volume's all the way up.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. I guess just try to yell into your mic.
Yell at everyone, Raid.
Yeah, let me.
Focusing his energy, he stood completely still for a nanosecond, then slashed out. Ignoring the pain in his shoulder, he successfully deflected 3 bolts before the firing stopped. So, what's actually crazy about this is in this same book, I think in this same source, Anakin also says that Obi-Wan is the quickest Jedi with the lightsaber he knows. And that includes Yoda and Mace. Like, that's actually that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it is pretty crazy.
Yeah, and because of like Obi-Wan's status, he's like comparable to almost most of the NJO Jedi that come later. And like I said, like you have like regular Jedi Knights performing like pulling starfighters out of the sky feats and reacting in like picoseconds to crazy stuff. Actually, one of my favorite ones is in Revelation. Like you have a regular nothing special Jedi Knight, right? Nothing special Jedi Knight stopping 2 people moving at terminal velocity so that they land safely on Coruscant. That's insane. And she did this, I think, with only like 500 meters left is when she started doing it. So like she slowed both people down significantly. That takes a lot of force.
I don't know, Wiz. I've seen the movies, and Jedi have never done shit like that.
Well, other mediums have greatly expanded upon Jedi capabilities.
While there are 2 main Star Wars continuities, there are little to no differences in the powers displayed by the Jedi and the Force in both of them. That's relatively accurate.
Some are even powerful enough to hold together entire.
This is the feat I was talking about. It is possible to use the Force to bind together the idol's energies once again. It's possible. He saved Coruscant at the price of his own life. This is what I was talking about. Like, you can't just give Obi-Wan this feat.
Obi-Wan has fought an army while blind.
Yeah, from the same Gennady Tartakovsky series. I forgot, did they make comics to this? That's crazy. I never knew they made comics to the Gennady series.
Folded, endured a blast from a starfighter, and
What's even crazy about that is the starfighter blast, which can like level buildings. They can deflect those with lightsabers. It's been shown multiple times that like they can deflect blasts from like buzz droids and other starfighter ships, which there's a lot of force behind those blasts.
battled the Sith, Darth Vader. That's when he had to break out his most OP move of all, the high ground. By standing just a few feet above an opponent, Obi-Wan gains enormous extra powerfulness. He even warns you about it. Charger Anakin.
The high ground.
High ground. It's foolproof.
Not exactly. Remember how Darth Maul?
Bro,
had
I
high
don't.
ground
It's so
against
memeable. I love it.
Obi-Wan himself.
Where do you think he learned
But it's
such
so
an awesome
true.
You know what's crazy is like the inconsistency of like Anakin's lightsaber skills. So it's like this Maul is actually very, very good. So Obi-Wan defeats Maul because Maul got arrogant. Cool, right? Maul showed he was still, even with an anger boost, like Maul was still better than Obi-Wan in this point. Anakin, after I think he's only been in the Jedi Temple, I think 3 years in this comic. I can't remember the name of the comic. He programs the lightsaber combat droid to turn into Maul, and he defeats that droid as like a youngling. So it's actually kind of scary how good Anakin is with a lightsaber. Now also in the same I think it was in Was it Apprentice? I think it was Apprentice. Uh, Qui-Gon says that just in like 2 years from Obi-Wan still being a Padawan, that he would have surpassed himself in lightsaber combat. Mind you, like Qui-Gon was a master at Form 4. And then you had that same Obi-Wan change lightsaber forms. He was using Form 4 as well. So then he changed lightsaber forms and then became the strongest third form user ever. So Obi-Wan's like a master swordsman.
Yeah, definitely.
Only Sith Satan could think of something so deadly.
Although they kind of say they said he studied all 7 lightsaber forms in this, which I don't remember a source saying that ever.
See me after class for an epic boss battle on a lava planet.
But defeating his fallen student is no small feat. Anakin could telekinetically move starships fast enough to...
So again, like I'm not comfortable giving Obi-Wan this feat because like this is Anakin. More so, this is Gennedy's Anakin. Tartakovsky's Anakin is like really, really strong. He like collapsed an entire factory because he was upset. That's and he didn't have his arm in that moment, which made it more terrifying. So he was just kind of just channeling the Force without like something to look at.
intercept hypersonic missiles.
Damn.
Based on the scale of this dreadnought and the distance it moved, this would need an energy...
Dreadnought. It's a massive ship. Yeah, see, I'm telling you, Gennady is like the one that made like comic book series. Like they just they're closer to what the novels say they can do, like flying and stuff like that. So yeah, this is an insane feat.
Energy over 21 megatons of TNT.
And that was when he was a newbie. He basically...
Alright, so Mastered Sarisu, which is Form 3, a purely defensive form. It has like almost no attack patterns whatsoever. Fought an army while blindfolded. First Jedi to defeat a Sith in 1,000 years. True. Physically pulled apart Grievous's armor. True. Reacted in the space of a nanosecond. We talked about that. Blocked Grievous's 12 strikes per second. I think in the novel he says he becomes one with the Force when he pulls that feat off, so but I'd have to check. Jumped up a multi-hundred floor building. Yes, Obi-Wan, interestingly enough, has the 3rd longest Force-enhanced jump in the Jedi Order. 1 is Anakin, 2 is Mace, and 3 is Obi-Wan. And we're talking like hundreds of meters kind of jumps.
Yeah.
Defeated Darth Maul, Dirge, Grievous, Asajj, Het, and Anakin Skywalker. Those are impressive. So he defeated Darth Maul. What's cool about that is he defeated Maul and Savage at the same time. Dirge is essentially Star Wars version of Wolverine, just a bounty hunter. Grievous, that's massively impressive. Grievous is arguably like the best Jedi killer of that time period. Asherad Het, I don't know if everyone knows who Asherad Het is. Asherad Het is a Jedi Master who became one of the most powerful Sith Lords in history in the NJO series. He fought Asherad when he was a Jedi still. Not only did he beat Asherad in a duel, he cut off Asherad's hand and then embarrassed him. So it was he's a pretty good duelist, and then he defeated Anakin. Which I still maintain he only defeats Anakin because he knows Anakin.
became the most powerful Jedi and
Yeah.
Sith in Space Wizard history.
However, Kenobi is extremely dedicated to his strict Jedi code, potentially to a fault. It's debatable if he ever learned from this mistake. After all, he told Luke Skywalker that the only way to ever become a Jedi would be to kill his own father. And he even tried to trick him into never figuring out that fact in the first place.
That's fair.
Move, Obi. Dick move.
But even in his worst moments, Obi-Wan Kenobi always fought for the sake of others. He would battle his dark apprentice one last time, sacrificing his life in service of a new hope.
And then he
Yeah.
became a ghost.
Don't ruin the moment.
Strike me down.
Well, so what's funny about this is like technically at this point, like when was this made? How many years ago was this made? 3 years ago. Yeah, they have no excuse. So this could have been Force Ghost Obi-Wan, and he could have clapped Kakashi.
Shinobi, Hokage, mentor, friend,
And porn addict.
Kakashi Hatake is all of these.
Oh no. I must have like bad signal for the audio not to be working like this to keep happening. There's a hurricane, so there's that too.
That explains it
And
horribly.
generally a pretty relaxed guy
Yeah,
for
right.
someone raised as a ninja assassin.
You wouldn't know it at first glance that his childhood sucked balls. Like when his dad committed seppuku.
We were just talking about this, like the pro government story writing of Naruto is just crazy. The man acknowledges he does a morally correct thing and then kills himself anyway because of societal pressure.
Because he saved his
It's
friends
crazy.
instead of prioritizing a mission.
In the shadow of disgrace, this cruel methodology of the ninja and his father's great mistake tore young Kakashi apart.
Reminds me of my dad.
What was his great mistake?
He called it boomstick.
Oh.
Okay, cool joke.
Despite his age 6 and a Jonin at age 12.
I never noticed that they're actually about the same size. That's interesting. Nature, affinity, lightning. I guess they'll bring up the fact that he's mastered other changes in chakra nature. They're talking about his affinity, I guess. Trained by Minato. Sakumo always hides his face. Nicknamed Copy Ninja.
For those of us who don't speak anime, he might as well have been doing ninja rocket science in the womb.
He quickly mastered the use of chakra, a form of spiritual energy within all individuals that ninja can shape and weaponize. This is ninjutsu.
He can walk up walls, heal wounds, and even make clones of himself. Plus, he's a master of taijutsu, aka punching people. But his deadliest technique of all is the 1,000 years of death!
The village secret finger jutsu!
Speaking of memes,
At Accelerate 3D, we
My
use
goodness.
large-size, high-speed 3D printing to help hardware companies bridge
1,000 years of death! Oh, that's gonna get you on a list.
Greatest jutsu of
Naruto's
all
like
time.
12.
mm-hmm.
Chakra can also be molded into nature itself, and Kakashi
I
can use it for numerous.
I genuinely think Kishimoto wanted people going around doing that to each other. There's no way that like that was an accident.
Yeah. It's a stupid jutsu that everyone will use.
It's amazing taijutsu technique.
Elemental attacks.
Sure, he can shoot fireballs or
So
dunk you-
forbidden that guy hasn't learnt it yet.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be shocked if guy's the one that taught it to him.
Tried it first.
Yeah, for someone who knows the Rasengan, he doesn't use it often. I find that weird.
It's I think he just prefers the Chidori.
I I,
Or
I get it, but like, I don't know. That's kind of weird to me. Also, the fact
it's
that like,
probably just
oh, sorry, go ahead.
it's easier. It's probably just easier to use his chakra nature than using just raw chakra.
Probably, yeah.
It's probably just Naruto is got chakra in space because he's an Uzumaki, Jinchuriki, etc.
Mm-hmm. He's got Rasengan, Demonic Illusion, Hell Viewing, First Gate of Opening, Lightning Style, Chidori, Lightning Beast Tracking Fang, Lightning Release Shadow Clone, Purple Electricity. Where is the Chidori Lightning Cord? Is this what it's called?
I know what you're talking about. I forget what it was called too.
Lightning Cables?
Lightning Cutter, I think. Lightning Cutter? I forget.
Yeah, it's something like that.
Yeah. They're not giving him access to Conway?
No, they're gonna talk about that.
with water, but his favorite is lightning. Lightning zaps, lightning clones, lightning dogs?
Yes.
That's awesome!
Earth Style, Hiding Like a Mole Technique, Earth Wall, Water Style, Great Waterfall, Water Dragon Bullet, Ninja Dogs, 1,000 Years of Death. Did he use Water Oh, yes. No, okay, my bad. It's the translation.
Anime.
Yeah, they're talking about the Water Dragon Jutsu.
Oh, I thought that's what I thought they were talking about. The water bullet is like Itachi used that.
Uh,
I don't know where they're getting Kakashi used that, but
wait, they give him great. Or do they mean the water wall technique? Because he used that
uh,
to block the water jutsu that Itachi used.
yeah, probably.
Yeah, I'm confused with this because the Great Waterfall, I thought, that was um, what's his name? Yamato. I thought Yamato used Great Waterfall. Wait, also Kakashi should have Water Vortex as well. He should give that because he copied it. That's. I mean, they're probably not gonna cover everything because he does know over 1,000 jutsu. But like, I don't know. I feel like Great Waterfall is nothing compared to like Water Vortex, which flooded an entire forest.
How do I get one of those?
He's even invented a lightning ninjutsu technique, the Chidori. By gathering electric chakra into his hand or a kunai, he becomes capable of piercing just about anything.
Even a bolt of actual lightning.
Yeah, the lightning edge's nickname earned when Kakashi cut a bolt of lightning with that technique. What's also interesting about this is I'm kind of curious. They're giving him the feats of lightning cutting through rock, but in the Naruto verse, like that is the advantage of lightning style jutsu. It's like I don't know how much that they're gonna give weight to its cutting power, but I mean it still does enhance the cutting power.
Take that, nature! Man triumphs over you once again.
This is where Kakashi's own Chidori got its moniker, Raikiri, Lightning Cutter.
Ooh, now I know what I'm gonna name my lightning dog.
The Chidori does have a downside, though. Its speed and power are so great, they give the user tunnel vision and make the attack generally uncontrollable.
Basically, once you kick on the gas, you're zooming straight ahead.
Years later, Kakashi would eventually develop the purple electricity jutsu, which was functionally similar to Chidori, but did not require the Sharingan to operate. Yes.
No matter what happens. Although Kakashi eyed just the thing to fix it.
Long story short, he was drafted into a war alongside his friends Rin.
Because like whether they give him the Sharingan or not, like he still has access to a Chidori.
Handed over one of his when he decided to sacrifice his life. Holy shit! Why don't I have any friends like that? Wiz, give me your eye.
They should
No,
do because
I'll
it's like
give it
he's
back,
basically
I
his
promise.
finishing move.
Obito's eye wasn't
Yeah,
an
he's
ordinary
getting
eye, it was an Uchiha.
he's gonna get Kamui as well. Yeah.
With his
So he's got Genjutsu, Sharingan technique, create illusions, incapacitates opponents. Is there a manga example of Kakashi using the Genjutsu of the Sharingan? I thought he only used it in the movie. Cause we've seen him try to counter Genjutsu with it, but we've never seen him like put people under it, I don't think. Enhanced perception of movements and chakra, copies view jutsu techniques, helps Chidori, Mangekyo Sharingan Kamui.
Sharingan, Kakashi not only got some control over his Chidori, but he can see a person's chakra, predict their movements, dupe your brain with Genjutsu, and even copy jutsu techniques. He's such
Okay, so they're giving him that technique. That wasn't a Sharingan technique. That's hilarious.
a filthy plagiarist that he stole.
Kakashi must be physically capable of a jutsu in order to copy it. For example, he cannot copy genetic Kekkei Genkai such as Haku's Ice Release.
Over 1,000 jutsus in 14 years.
Yeah, but he learns to combine chakra natures
didn't
later.
exactly turn the Sharingan off.
And then Rin jumped in front of his Raikiri and kicked the bucket too. Man, this guy can't catch a break.
And yet, unimaginable loss is exactly what is needed to unlock the Sharingan's next stage, the Mangekyo Sharingan.
Oh yeah, into another dimension. Sure, it uses up a lot of his chakra pool, but it's a pretty clever instant win move.
The concept of trauma granting new power fascinates.
How much do you think like Kakashi can use Kamui normally during the war? Because like it's hard to detail because he keeps getting like extra chakra from people, and he gets like a QB amp at some point. So it's like, how many times can he actually just use it on a normal basis? Because I've seen people try to use like the war arc version of it to try to justify like how many times he can use it in a death battle. I'm just like, he got a lot of extra chakra during the war, so I don't know if that should be counted his use of Kamui.
Yeah, but then again, it's down to which version of Kakashi you want to use.
Yeah, they're gonna explain DMS later. But from what I remember, they explain DMS later. But if I remember correctly, that's not the version they use for the fight.
So, I've stolen Boomstick's entire beer hoard and placed it in a secure room with 200.
Nobody cares about your jokes.
What have you... Punchy!
Punchy?
In the end, he became a teacher, and this new generation of ninja helped him learn that his dad was right all along. Friends do come first, unless they blow up all your beer. Wake up!
He's held.
See, okay, so cuts through a rock with lightning blade. Lightning has an inherent advantage over that. Intercepted a lightning bolt, outsmarted Zabuza and the Deva path. I guess. I mean, I don't know how much I count that when like Pain when Nagato has his perception like shared amongst 6 bodies. I don't know if I'll give that outsmarting. Create over 25 shadow clones at once. Yeah, but those shadow clones didn't have any substance to them. I guess they're trying to say he can do that. Fought in the 3rd and 4th Shinobi Wars, controlled the perfect Susanoo, led multiple ninja teams, defeated Zabuza, Haku, and Obito. See, I used to be a Kakashi genuinely beat Obito stan. I have changed my idea, my position on that statement. I don't think it's fair to give him the Obito. They're just saying he's the one that defeated Obito in that one instance, I guess, but like he didn't actually beat Obito.
No.
Yeah, that's not very fair.
The zone against top tier ninja like Zabuza, Pain, and even his old friend Obito.
Back from the dead and evil now, because why not? Kakashi can definitely compare to fellow ninja master Jiraiya, who can blow up mountains.
No, he
and
cannot.
makes Over 18 megatons of TNT.
And he's caught in
No. You're not just gonna compare Kakashi to Jiraiya like that. Like a later version of Kakashi, sure. They just kind of like genuinely said like, oh, Kakashi very clearly is comparable to Jiraiya, and I was like, And then like what makes it worse, they show like Sage Mode Jiraiya. I don't know if I agree with that one.
Based on the distance it moved before he caught it, he must have reacted within 70 microseconds and moved over 2,000 times the speed of sound.
Sounds like ninja president material to me. Not too shabby for a guy who likes to read.
So they got Kakashi clocked at over 2,000 times the speed of sound.
Porn in public. Did I forget to mention that? Because he totally does.
Kakashi of the
Talking about speed of sound when you cut the lightning bolt.
They were using that feat of him catching the lightning style jutsu. But again, the problem with that is that's not natural lightning. So they're giving him like a lightning feat that isn't actual lightning. His best feat for lightning is actually cutting a natural bolt of lightning. So
Yeah, because that actually makes it comparable to the lightning bolt because he actually cut it.
yeah.
But then again, he's cutting it from the side, so he's not actually cutting the full thing.
Are you talking about what when they showed the feat in the anime, or are you talking about that feat?
No, it depends on like, did he cut it horizontally or did he cut it vertically?
I think he cut it. If I remember correctly, I think it was cut vertically.
Okay, yeah. Okay, it should be good.
Full of surprises.
Right now, all I can give you is just death.
The
See-
Wells Fargo Active Cash Card. Earn 2% cash back.
All right, so the fight itself is interesting.
And neat. Like a new needle.
I
point.
thought they talked
Wells
about the
Fargo Active Cash
lightsaber.
Credit Card.
I guess they
That's
didn't.
real life ready.
So another thing that's kind of a big thing here is like there isn't anything. So like they didn't talk about the cutting power of the lightsaber much. Like lightsabers do a lot of damage.
Yeah.
If you hold one up to a blast door, it's eventually going to cut through the blast door. It's cut through Duracrete. It's cut through Permacrete. Like it's kind of pretty nasty. And then I talked about earlier how it's like it's blocking not just blaster shots from like regular blaster rifles and stuff like that. You can block attacks from ships with it. So we're talking about like neighborhood leveling shots that you can deflect with a lightsaber.
Yeah.
And then like focused cutting, like that's completely different as well. We've seen them again cut through like steel that can survive the vacuum of space and heats that are like it's insane. Then you also have like them absorbing energy through it if they know two to menace. That's terrifying in of itself. So like he quite literally could like absorb a lightning like a Chidori. Like they could go head to head and he could literally cut through Kakashi using two to menace.
Yeah, I'm just worried about Kakashi's feats now.
Yeah,
What
like
did they give him?
yeah, I think they're gonna.
Like, what was the best one they
Alright,
gave him?
combatants are set, and we've run the data.
From what I've seen, the best thing they gave him was Kamui.
Well, I mean, technically, if you just use this Kamui right off the bat, it's no wait, it's warping space time. Didn't you say something about lightsabers and warping and space?
No, Force users themselves can warp space,
Oh, okay.
and then some in special cases have traveled through time. I hate when time travel jumps into sci-fi. But
Well, I
no,
mean, it's sci-fi,
yeah,
fantasy.
those feats only ever occurred with like assistance. No one's ever time traveled in Star Wars without like major assistance. Sometimes it's done like completely accidental. There was a Sith
I
Lord
wonder
who.
if you can
Mhm.
kind of move out of the way of it with space-time force, I guess.
Oh well, they have so like you know how like Naruto has precog.
Yep.
Jedi's have it, but like times 50.
Okay, so he's gonna know. Like I said, it's Sharingan precog versus their precog, I guess. But you already just said times 50.
Yeah, like uh Mara J was able to tell that an interdictor cruiser was coming through hyperspace. She wasn't even a trained Jedi. Like this was her accidentally tapping into the Force, and she was able to tell that a ship was going to come out of hyperspace. Mind you, hyperspace moves faster than the speed of light.
Yeah.
So like that's how much precog we're talking, and this is in a combat
Yeah.
situation. So like it's
It
not
would be
fair.
even worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's gonna know when he's launching it, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, what's interesting is in this fight, if I remember correctly, Genjutsu versus the Force, and every we get into this argument every time there's a Naruto character placed up against somebody else. It's how can that other character handle Genjutsu, and
Yeah, it's hacks versus hacks, yeah.
yeah, and unfortunately, mind tricks really don't work on Jedi at all. It's like they're one of the first things they're ever taught because Sith, one of the major classifications of Sith are Sith sorcerers. Sith sorcerers are
Yeah.
notorious for using illusions and curses and poisons and all this other stuff.
And on top of that, Jedi are just like they always were meant to be resilient against, I think, emotions. Like they were trained against not using their emotions, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. It's all about creating
Yeah.
peace and stabilization within yourself. So it's like even just by that standard alone, like you're gonna have to. Mhm.
They're already developing illusion resistance, even at the first basis, without getting into the fact that Siths fight on a daily basis for that.
Exactly. This is just like this. I'm saying I don't think this was a good matchup for Kakashi.
Landing. Hello there. Hold it. You're in Konoha territory. I have some questions, if you'll come with me. You want to go home and keep reading your book? I want to go home and keep reading my book. After I kick your ass!
Yeah, this seems very Star Wars. This seems very Star Wars. I'm pretty sure they're gonna give Obi-Wan a win.
It's not. It's not really fair, honestly.
They gave him the vehicle?
No, they didn't. That was Kakashi just throwing it up in the air with his Earth Wall.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, see, like this is something that doesn't happen in Star Wars, so I didn't like this part. I know they say that like how the battle itself plays out is not the
Yeah.
is not like
It's just animation for entertainment, yeah.
yeah. But like, I don't know. Sometimes when they do stuff like that, it bothers me a lot because
It does because it show like how they saw the technique and how they thought it should work.
yeah. Oh, sorry I wasn't in the chat, guys. I didn't have my phone. I was letting my phone charge, but now I can see the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fight wasn't fair for Kakashi, but like their Star Wars has never done the anime thing or even like the superhero thing where like clearly like you know like when Zoro cuts through like a mountain and you're just like his swords are only like a foot long, so it's like how did he cut all the way through the mountain? They give him like the extra
Yeah.
force of that. That never happens in Star Wars, so when I saw this, it like kind of irked me. Actually, I think that is Mace's move he just used. Swipe. Boom. High. And then low sweep. No, that was Obi-Wan's move. Okay. Okay, that's... So this is another interesting thing, like, in character. So, like, technically these characters are not in character. But I talked about it earlier about, like, the Force and how it's used. So, like, that... It shouldn't be like an overwhelmingly powerful force push because he's using it offensively and you don't use the force offensively as a light side user. Like that's not how it works. I guess maybe you could argue that he's fighting defensively, but he's pressing the action, which is not what Sarisu does. Now he does have a Taru to draw on because he does know Ataru. But Ataru is more acrobatic and more physical. It's not using the force a lot. Most of the force you use when you use Ataru is like physical. You use it to physically augment yourself, not to use the force.
You've fallen for the deadliest stratagem we ninja know. 1,000 years of death. Don't try it. I have the high ground.
I can't believe they actually put that in here.
They actually put that in there.
Yeah.
I guess I have the high ground. Oh, I don't think so.
What's funny is this came out before the Kenobi series, and then like Kenobi ends up. I was like, nah, I don't know if Obi-Wan would use the Force like this, and then like he uses it like this in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series.
Thank you.
Most impressive. But I see you.
That was creepy. What's worse is that like I've seen people argue that like Kakashi would hit too hard for Obi-Wan, but like he got punched by Grievous. He's been hit by Savage and Dirge. Like each one of those guys alone can dent like space metal when they punch. Actually, Grievous literally almost punched a hole in his escape ship trying to hit Kenobi. That's how hard Grievous was punching. So it's like I don't think Kakashi has anything for for Obi-Wan in the physical department.
That's all chakra feats.
Mm-hmm. Oh, got him.
Be mindful of your thoughts, Obi-Wan. They betray you.
Yeah, it's just not. See, like, I'm convinced that Kunai would have been shattered.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's what they were saying about Kamui. It's like even if he did get Kamui off, like Obi-Wan's fast enough to react to it, like the moment it would start.
Don't give up. Trust in the Force.
Also, you're supposed to turn off your lightsaber. Yeah, so that's another thing. Out like not in character, like outside character, Obi-Wan is definitely doing ripping out organs and stuff like that. But in character, it's not something he would do.
Yeah.
So uncivilized.
Yeah, it's not fair.
See you.
Well, I heard you were looking for a Robert Downey Jr. type, and I thought, I don't know, maybe I can do that.
Okay, for sure.
Well, let's see how it goes.
Let's give it a whirl.
A little nervous.
Just breathe.
Okay. Weird. Yeah, this was just not this is as unfair as putting Naruto up against Ichigo.
Well, Kakashi may have been able to beat Obi too, but he just couldn't handle Obi-Wan.
You're not funny.
Far more powerful and versatile than you might think.
Yeah, like how chakra is an internal life energy. Didn't exactly run out of it.
So
We already had the speed, so the speed advantage basically got it, and on top of that, high reflexes.
yeah. Well, what's annoying about this is they say, oh, well, chakra is an internal source of energy and you can run out, but like you can't run out of the force, and that's not true. Okay, you cannot run out of the force, but like someone's stamina is still dependent. Like force users can go a very long time, but they're not like their stamina isn't endless. Yeah, this is that I don't like the way they worded that. They made it seem as if like because you can measure Obi-Wan's stamina. Like do you have those feats of like Naruto characters fight, these people fought for like 2 days straight. Like you have the same thing with Star Wars characters. So I don't think it would have made a difference, but that's not a good way to characterize. Um it's not a good way to characterize that at all.
And Kakashi couldn't copy Force techniques, because, I mean, he's using...
That's also like saying like, oh, Quincy pull in Reishi from the outside, therefore they would never run out of energy, but that's not true. Like they can physically tax themselves out.
They coat their own energy over it, but they still grants them like a huge supply of energy.
Yeah, exactly.
External force, not internal chakra.
But that also
Totally
means they have
different.
less
As for
energy
brute
inside their
power,
bodies
Ninja
compared to
Mountain
like a
busting
Soul
and
Reaper.
Anakin's Dreadnought
Exactly.
experiences were fairly comparable.
Which is
However,
what makes the Stone Raider scary, because when they were looking at the spiritual pressure of the Quincy, I remember in one panel Kubo draws like the blips on the radar, and there are some Stone Raider blips that are just massive.
Blatantly, like they were just captain level already with the energy and that's inside of them.
Exactly. That's ridiculous. The fact that like Quincy are giving off like that much spiritual pressure is just
Kenobi
terrifying.
matched Anakin's force power well
Yeah.
after he had become far stronger than that.
Oh, okay. So this is something that Star Wars fans argue about all the time, and I love this argument because it's hilarious to me. There is an argument to be made in the series about whether or not the dark side actually makes someone stronger when they turn to it. There are some writers who acknowledge that someone gets a boost when they use the dark side, but there are other people who acknowledge that it's not a boost so much as you become more offensive. So
okay, I agree.
Mhm.
I think that might actually be the case is the disposition, but I think that disposition would give you a boost.
Yeah, I'm alright, man. CJ, you have a good day. No, like so, yeah, it's one of those things because in the original trilogy, when Luke asked Yoda directly, "Is the dark side stronger?"
Yeah.
He says no. Quick and easy, yes. More seductive, but not stronger. And then you kind of see that pan out because, like, no matter how mad Maul gets at Obi-Wan, no matter how many times a Sith Lord augments himself with some type of weapon, they never actually are stronger than the person they're fighting. In some cases, like XR Kun, like that's true, but like how you saw like Anakin versus Obi-Wan, like he matched Darth Vader in a force push.
Yeah.
It's yeah, I don't think
But it's always like contextual to the thing. But it's like
mhm.
it's basically the good trope of oh, he's fighting to protect, therefore he gets a massive strength. Oh, and also he's emotional at the same time. He's also stronger now too. And
Exactly.
the other guy is just fighting for himself, and that's the only boost he gets.
Exactly. And it's stated several times that that's why the Sith always lose to the Jedi. They always either destroy themselves or they destroy each other, whereas the Jedi are always working together.
Yeah.
Sad part is, the Sith almost overcame the Jedi when they were working together, but of course, they couldn't stay together long enough to survive.
Yeah, yeah.
Brotherhood of Darkness almost did it. But yeah, so it's like that's a big argument in the series. There are writers who have just blatantly said like, um, was it in was it in the Darth Plagueis novel?
Yeah.
Can't remember where this was. They were like, oh, if Yoda were to turn to the dark side, he would absolutely wreck Sidious. He'd be more powerful than Sidious. And I'm like, I mean, I think he's more powerful than Sidious as is. It's just he's older than Sidious. So he's a bit more diminished than Sidious is. So I'm like, I don't think that's ever like a thing. I don't think Darkseid is stronger. But they kind of just said that it was, so it's like that's iffy.
Is the chosen one we're talking about here. Other Jedi
Yeah,
have done some
I think it's
crazy
just the cases of it isn't. Like if you put like the rate, if you put one dark side user versus one light side user, and then you stay there in a 1v1, and then you remove all like old context, you probably have the dark side just winning. But
Yeah,
if you allow context, the good side wins because they're either protecting someone, they're fighting defensively, or etc.
yeah. Because like I said, like you're not supposed to use the light side of the force in an offensive manner. You can defend yourself to the point that you kill your opponent. Like that is an okay thing to do. You'll still remain in the light
Yeah,
side of the force. But like generally, you don't win a fight by being purely defensive. But that was what made Obi-Wan so great, is that like he was able to turn his defensive style into something that was just devastating, because the moment you made one single mistake in your form, an off kilter footstep, you've shifted your weight too far one way or the other, you're getting flipped. So
yeah.
yeah, that's what made Obi-Wan so dangerous. But that wasn't everyone that used Form 3. Then you had what was it? But then like they do this where they're like, oh well, he matched Darth Vader in a force push. What Anakin does on Mortis, like in this scene, is nothing compared to like what he tried to do with. And like, if he was using the same force output in that room with Obi-Wan, that entire room would have been gone. Like in this Mortis arc, we're talking about a man that's like literally shifting the balance of the entire force. It's
Yeah.
a cosmic level feat. It's not the same.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, CJ. Kakashi is not beating Obi-Wan in any universe, even with DMS, which they're about to get to.
stuff, like throwing a fleet of star destroyers
Yes,
across the solar system.
ISD2s thrown. I think those are ISD2s. Are those ISD2s?
In seconds and stopping a whole planet from going kaboom. Oh, and you know how Obi-Wan tore apart Grievous'
See, right
armor
there.
with his bare hands in Revenge of the Sith?
The same armor designed.
There you go. Made of ceramic armoplast and duranium, Grievous' new robotic chassis resembled an ancient craft war droid, able to withstand volleys from a starfighter laser cannon, to say nothing of blaster bolts. Like, meaning that man could literally walk through a wave of blaster bolts without being injured. Like, it's ridiculous.
Designed to survive starship cannons. It withstood a blast at a
I guess the question is, what do those things actually do?
It depends on the model of blaster. You have your like E11 rifles, which are kind of don't do that much more damage than an actual like bullet. They hit a little bit harder. Then you got
Yeah.
like genuinely like shotgun versions of that. An explosion started at this, and then there's this one. An explosion started at the center of the thermal core by accident or design. I don't know. A chain reaction engulfed the entire facility. The stability of the planet's surface was threatened.
Annihilated a subterranean city and almost collapsed the.
And he walks out of it. He had an entire city, along with the crust of that Earth of the planet, fall on top of him, and he still climbed out. Like that's how durable his armor is.
Okay, so this guy. Wait, did the planet blow up?
No, the
The
planet
whole
didn't
thing?
blow up. He had the city.
Okay.
Yeah, one of the reactor cores I think failed or someone blew it up. I don't remember what happened in this comic. And then
I'm just
like,
making sure it wasn't planetary.
oh yeah, no, no, no.
The surface of a planet.
Well,
Seriously.
so you see how durable that is, right? Mace Windu, with one force technique crushed that armor. Like, so
Yeah.
someone who is stronger than Obi-Wan casually defeated with just a force ability. So I'm like, again, and this can be aimed at internal organs. Kakashi does not have internal organ protection feats.
Yeah. Well,
Obi-Wan,
that's just not how people fight in that series.
yeah. It's very rare for a series to have internal organ protection.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, during negation resistance is yeah.
Obi-Wan's experience with two Dominus and Sith Lightning essentially nullified Kakashi's primary element, and his telekinesis was similar to Pain's gravity manipulation, which nearly killed Kakashi. That's actually probably the best summation of the fight. And Sith Lightning has far, far better feats than Kakashi's. I know it sounds bad, but his Chidori, I mean his lightning blade is like you have like people with Sith Lightning turning other people to ash with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not comparable.
Down, Obi is physically strong enough to rip that armor apart, but apparently
See?
the Force
Boom.
is.
Even
Mace Windu just crushes it with a force crush technique.
Kamui wasn't a reliable option, since Kenobi's reaction speed was near.
Approximately 1 nanosecond, 60.96 microseconds. That's a pretty significant speed difference.
Nearly 70,000 times faster than
Yeah.
Kakashi's. More than quick enough
Kakashi's Sharingan precognition relies on analyzing muscle movements and is generally unable to predict the attacks of someone significantly faster than himself.
to avoid Kamui, especially with his precognition.
But we can hear you shouting in the back. What about Kakashi's dual Mangekyo?
Yeah, Dual Mangekyo
it's
Sharingan.
only-
Obito gave him, and
It's
the
only
perfect
meant to
Susanoo.
measuring the
It's
speed of someone that's relative to you, which is all precog stuff generally.
Mm-hmm. Now, if he had like Naruto's like danger sensing precog, that'd be different. But yeah,
Yeah.
Obi-Wan's previously established mental barriers and experience with telepathy. Telepathy means he could likely escape Genjutsu illusions. Yes.
Difficult to justify granting those to Kakashi at all because they aren't
Yeah.
really his.
Just general Force user experience is that they always had mental barriers or precog stuff to protect you already.
Yeah. It's just
And
it's
the minute
not.
you lose that, you just fall to the dark side, probably.
What, using precog?
Oh, no, like the mental barriers. If you fail that mental check, you're probably going to go to the dark side eventually, if you fail enough mental checks.
That's actually pretty accurate. Yeah. There was a Sith Lord, Khan.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. He was not a Sith Lord because he refused. Everyone's a Lord under the Brotherhood. He wasn't a Darth, but Khan was able to use his connection through battle meditation to actually twist the minds of other Sith Lords around him. So it's like that's exactly it. He actually did that to convert a few people to the side. It's like once you kind of break down those mental barriers, influencing people with the Force becomes so much easier.
Yeah. It's unironically a lot like Warhammer.
Mm-hmm.
He could only use them when Obito's spirit briefly possessed his body.
Yeah. So the reason they didn't use DMS was because, like he just said, they only it only worked when he had Obito's spirit in his body, so that would count as like outside interference. It's only like a temporary boost he got. But then they say he'd still lose even if he had DMS.
Even if he did, the results probably wouldn't change much. Remember that Kip guy who moved a black
Yeah, it's
hole?
probably fun to argue that.
Yeah. Obi-Wan wouldn't need this long to beat Kakashi. The only thing Kakashi has is Kamui, and Obi-Wan can dodge it. Yeah, that's essentially what it boils down to. Luke Skywalker tested Kip's Jedi power potential. What he discovered was the strongest Force presence he had known since his masters Obi-Wan and Yoda. I hate that. I really hate that. But yeah, so again, like that's just kind of just says it. If Kip, who was not at his peak, could manipulate miniature black holes, like this would be capable by Yoda and Obi-Wan. So
Yeah.
it's like Kakashi could quite literally move the Susanoo out of his way. And then like the Susanoo doesn't protect him from all the other stuff Obi-Wan could do to him, like crushing an eyeball or an organ.
He was directly compared to Obi-Wan by Luke himself.
If we're to take that at face value, this means Kenobi could theoretically call upon the Force to exert nearly 14 petatons of TNT.
Wait
I'm like fairly sure Jaina helped him with that feat. I'm gonna have to go
more
reread
than
that.
what Kakashi was packing. And even then, Obi-Wan could just...
Without laying a finger on her, I could crush her throat or her skull or burst her heart in her chest. I could kill her 10 times over without breaking a sweat. Yeah. Yeah.
crush his organs. Shit, man, don't mess around with Jedi.
I know it can seem strange to hear about Jedi being this powerful and deadly, but think of it this way. Part of the reason why the Jedi Code is so strict is because of this immense power at their fingertips.
Boom.
The
So
code
it's
tries to keep
embarrassing.
them, civilized in a way.
But when you enter a death battle, throw those morals out the window. We're looking for who wins a no-holds-barred fight to the death.
Kakashi had many impressive tools, tricks, and techniques, but Kenobi's brilliant speed, overwhelming force, and greater level of power won this bout.
In the end, Obi won.
Yeah, this one. So it's even funnier. Like technically, even if you wanted to use, like I said, like Force Ghost Obi-Wan, we now know that like Force Ghost can still interact with the living world. It's really bad. It's so bad. So even as Force Ghosts, they could quite literally clap people they're fighting.
Probably.
Like Yoda called down a lightning bolt as a Force Ghost. That's ridiculous. Then you got people picking up and turning on lightsabers now. It's like, yep, nah. Star Wars is
Definitely.
Star Wars is quite broken. You need some heavy hitting people to actually be able to take these people down. The only characters that come to mind, I think, that can like another verse that could really battle with them are like DC, Marvel. I think you could make an argument for some people's stands in JoJo's.
Yeah.
What about Dragon Ball characters?
Uh,
I mean,
it
they'll just
depends on how
blow
you
up the
scale them.
universe.
Yeah,
They'll just blow up the universe. Will be the point.
it honestly depends on how you scale. So like, what's your best speed feat for Dragon Ball, like Goku and Vegeta?
Seen some pretty high calcs for them.
Yeah, I've
I haven't
seen.
seen the maths, but like it's all like minimum light speed.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they hit light speed a while ago.
A long time ago, like minimum light speed.
Yeah. Well, so okay. I guess it's also, when I think about it, also depends if you're counting anime and manga canon, because like you have like Goku punching into the future in the anime. Like that's objectively ridiculous.
And then you probably got all the Super Saiyan multipliers on top of that. That you would just, I don't know if it like exactly like whether it counts exactly that it would just be times 50 times light speed, but like you could probably get some ridiculously calc stacks going in that series. Considering there's like Super Saiyan 1, Super Saiyan 2, and Super Saiyan 3. Then obviously you got God and then